Hello there and welcome to FX Street Currencies in Play, brought to you by Royal Financial Trading. I'm joined by Eddie Topfick, who's Head of Foreign Exchange at ADM Investor Services. How are you today, Eddie?
I'm pretty good for the last day of July.
Yes, what does it mean? What does it mean? Well, let's have a look and see what it means for the currencies.
Yep.
We've got the dollar index recovering after Friday's GDP figures, and looking at the dollar index, it's the weakest of recoveries, really. I mean,
it's a continuing movement weaker in the dollar generally, so we're seeing it's weakening over a long period for quite a while, and it carries on at the moment.
And then we go on to euro dollar, which tests 117.30 from year-to-date peaks around 117.60. If we can get that through, we've got, I suppose, just the mildest of pullbacks really so far.
I'd think so as well. Looking at that, we've got to go back to the period around about 1:30, yes, on Friday afternoon to see the next area of support. It seems to be supported at just above that 117, or just around about 117.30 area on that short-term chart. So a little bit of a pullback, but very, very mild.
Okay. Pound on trades in the low 131s ahead of key UK data in the Bank of England on Thursday. Squeezing everybody to death slowly. So slow kill here, isn't it?
To be honest, I think a lot of people are looking at going, oh, really? It's gradually running into a lot of resistance around just over the top of the market there, and it keeps running into it. Hasn't really shown as being very, very strong, but there is some stuff up there which is holding the market down. So if you look at it, it's pulled back down, but each time the pullback down has been less. So consequently, it maybe is building some sort of ascending triangle type pattern.
Okay, and then dollar yen, my favorite cross. Here we've had the overnight shenanigans with ICBMs, etc., which obviously nobody seems to want to do anything about. We're waiting for something to hit something, I think, at this.
Well, there's B1s flying over the Korean Peninsula, things like that. So it's getting very precious all at the moment.
Right, let me just see if I can get the chart there. So I think was it around the 110.80 was the previous support. That's coming in now as resistance. Is that a fair thing to say?
I would say actually you've got resistance further up from about just under 111 all the way through to about 111.25. But it's gradually heading weaker. You're seeing a gradual move towards the yen, being a regional safe currency, so to speak, in this particular instance, until something else kicks off.
Within range of North Korea. It's a strange one to be a safe haven, isn't it?
They've done far worse things. It's an ICBM, that's the one thing, and whether it landed properly as opposed to breaking up in the stratosphere or whatever. But they're flying missiles over the top of Japan before and landed on the other side. So this sort of thing isn't unusual. The thing is whether China's actually going to do anything about it.
I doubt it. Right, we've gone to the next slide. Trade of the day, pound dollar looking bullish, but formed double top around 130.50. Dollar weak at this point, and the main fundamental move of recent action. Uptrend remains intact with move lower, providing opportunity rather for new longs. Look to buy around 130.85 with a stop around 136 and take profit of 131.40 risk reward ratio at 2.2. I suppose the next time it goes up through the 131.50s, if it can, you'd expect there to be a stronger move. I'd
expect there possibly to be some stop buying and seeing a bit of a push quite rapidly above that. Easily up to test 132, over 132, even say 132 and a quarter or something like that. So it's not unreasonable. I don't think it's unreasonable what's being put forward as an idea there, actually.
Okay.
These are quietish markets, but that's not an unreasonable idea.
Right, okay. Going on to the trading positions, and I suppose the surprise here, just at first glance, is being so long of the pound.
Yeah, it seems as it depends what the open interest is and how much actually is there. It may be just a little bit that's actually out there showing, and so it's showing unrealistically as being very, very heavily long sterling. But it's not an unreasonable thing to look at.
And then dollar yen, which is agreeing with the way I want it to go through the floor.
Well, it can't all be just one way, all down. It can't just be that way.
Okay, and then the Aussie dollar ahead of the RBA overnight. Is that worth a mention?
I think that's actually quite an interesting chart to look at. I've got some work on that later on, but I think that's actually quite an interesting one to look at, purely because I think there may be this action we saw a few days ago, just up there, you can see it, is, well, on that one, it's a double top. The action over around about 80.60 from Thursday. On the daily chart, because it looks more like a spike top. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's an interesting one to look at and see, do we have a little bit of a follow through? Does it actually then follow down? The next day or so should be quite interesting, that one, to see whether it's done too much on the upside and starts to come down again.
Is there a possible trade like breaking 80 and then going back to retest the high, the 80.60? Is that a possibility?
I'm more of the opinion we're going to try and see a pullback down and then look to see what happens then.
Right, and the euro sterling 100% long, which sounds
backs off what's going on.
Sounds rather keen, let's say.
Yeah, it's a contradictory in some ways against what's going on in cable.
So there we've had a very small range, but obviously just basically holding that big move there.
Exactly. I mean, it's wow, to write home about. You've got resistance at just around about 89.70. You've got support around just underneath, say, 89.30. It's not exactly something to write home about.
Okay, let's go on to the economic calendar. Chicago PMI, home sales, Dallas Fed, and then, as I mentioned before, the RBA.
Unless we get some Fed speakers or somebody else, it's going to be a quietish day on the back of that.
Right.
I don't see necessarily seeing that much movement, purely because the Chicago PMI will be the most interesting one of that lot until about next day, which is the RBA.
Okay, we'll see how we go. Eddie Toffik, Head of Foreign Exchange at 80 Minute Investor Services. Thanks for coming in today. And that's it for FX Street Currencies in Play, brought to you by Royal Financial Trading.